Good afternoon, everyone. Respected Dean, Vice Dean Research, Vice Dean Academic, fellow teachers at the School of Chemical Sciences, members of Seminar Committee, research scholars, and my dear students, on behalf of the Seminar Committee, I, Dr. Shrikant Naik, welcome all of you for today's seminar presentation by our very own Part 1 student, Ms. Upma Ulhas Gaonkar. Ms. Upma is an ex-student of Government College Kepe, from where she graduated in chemistry. And today she is going to present a seminar on the topic, the role of nanomaterials as effective adsorbents and the applications in wastewater treatment. Ms. Upma, kindly note, you will get a total of 20 to 25 minutes for presentation and 10 minutes for answering the questions raised by our all the presentees. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you. So can I start?
Yes, of course. Go ahead.
Good evening and a warm welcome to everyone present here. I'm Upma Gaonkar, Part 1 chemistry student, and today I will be talking on the topic, the role of nanomaterials as effective adsorbents and their applications in wastewater treatment. I have taken the material for this particular presentation from the paper which has the title same as my topic, and it is taken from the Journal of Nanostructure in Chemistry. And yes, this is the outline of what I will be briefing about today, and I will be briefly talking about common toxic material which is present in wastewater, traditional water decontaminants, absorption processes in wastewater treatment, and how nanomaterials are used in can be used in wastewater treatment. And particularly, I will be focusing on carbon-based nanomaterials and metal oxide nanomaterials. So moving forward, the common toxic materials which are present in wastewater are azo dyes. Okay, azo dyes are coloring compounds which are used in industry. So from all the colors which are used in industry, 70% of the colors are basically azo dyes, and we all know that how toxic they can be, and they can cause the effects like neurosensory damage, metabolic stress in body. They can cause death in fishes, and also they are known to inhibit the plant growth. Second toxic material is heavy metal ions. Heavy metal ions like lead, mercury, arsenic, indium are all, their concentration, even the lesser concentration of this metal in water can cause different health hazards. So the problems which they particularly cause are liver and kidney damage, nausea, increased thirst, dermatitis, insomnia, and diarrhea. The third toxic material, which we all are familiar with, which is particularly found in, I guess, sewage wastewater, is bacteria, or particularly I can say pathogens. They can cause diarrhea, vomiting, cramps, headaches, fatigue, nausea, etc. So the traditional water decontaminants which are used to treat water are like chlorine, chlorine dioxide, or ozone. We all know that these are used for treating water. These three compounds particularly help us with the removal of the pathogens from the water, but also when these compounds react with the matter present in the water, the organic matter which is present in the water, after reacting with that matter, they can form toxic compounds like trihalomethane and halophenol. Trihalomethane are particularly known to cause rectal anal cancers. They are carcinogenic. The trihalomethanes are carcinogenic, and also halophenol, which cause of odor of the water. Means there is fouling type of a smell comes out of water because of this halogenol. So this the contaminants can only help us with the removal of pathogens, but they cannot help us with the removal of heavy metal ions or dyes. So there is a quest for finding the material. So the practices which are basically used to treat water are like reduction, precipitation, ion exchange, oxidation, and absorption. From all these five methods, there are many more too, but these are the major which are used for treating wastewater. And this four from all these methods, they are costlier because the instruments which are needed, to carry out the procedure are costlier, and they have, maintaining the cost is also high. But the absorption process which is there, it is comparatively costlier as compared to all these other processes, and also absorption is easy to handle. So this is heavily used for treating wastewater. So the materials which are used for absorption are like zeolite, activated carbon, biomaterials, polymers, and cytosine. So these materials are used, but the problem with them is they are less efficient. And also the low permeability of zeolite is one of the factors for which they are, not that efficient enough. So there is a quest for solving this particular problem, that we need more efficient adsorbents which can help us in the treating the wastewater. So characteristics of an ideal adsorbent material could be a material which is highly efficient, also which consumes low energy, which is cost effective, recyclable, as well as less toxic. So these are some of the characteristics which an ideal adsorbent material could have. So the material which complies to all these five, approximately complies to all these five points, are nanomaterials. Okay, they are always a good option to use as adsorbents. So I will just brief about what are nanomaterials, and yes, I will brief about what are nanomaterials in next slide. So as we all know that nanomaterials are the materials where any one dimension of the material is in nanometer range, that is from 1 nanometer to 100 nanometer. So nanomaterials, they have a grain size of the order of the billions of a meter. It is easy for us to imagine and understand what a meter looks like. Also, we can imagine what a meter looks like. But when we say nanometer, it becomes very difficult to imagine how small the size could be. So just to understand how small a nanometer is, I will go through in the next slide. Okay. So nanoscale. If I have a baseball bat, which is around 1 meter long, okay, we can imagine how 1 meter long is. So if I cut this baseball bat into 100 pieces, okay, so if I cut it into 100 pieces, one piece will be approximately equal to 1 centimeter, which is around the length of the fingertip. Yeah, it's 1 centimeter. So if I cut this 1 centimeter 10 times, I will be getting the size approximately, the one piece from that will be approximately 1 millimeter, which is around the size of the needle eye. Then again, if I cut this particular length, that is 1 millimeter 10 times, I will reach to the size 100 micrometer. 100 micrometer is approximately how the size of human hair, and I guess this is the lowest dimension a human eye can observe. So again, now we are in the micrometer scale. So again, if I divide this size of this head, which is 100 micrometer 10 times, I will reach to a size 10 micrometer, which is approximately the size of our blood cells. So again, we are in the micrometer range. If I cut this blood cells 10 times, I will be reaching to the size of 1 micrometer, which is approximately the diameter of the bacteria. Then again, if I cut this bacteria into 100 pieces, okay, 100 parts, one part will be approximately 100 nanometers. So from a baseball bat to such a small scale, 100 meter, we are, designing materials. So 100 nanometer. If I cut this virus into 100 pieces, one piece will be approximately 1 nanometer, which is 1 billionth of a meter. And 1 nanometer is approximately half of a DNA. And in this 1 nanometer, approximately 4 to 5 atoms fit, I guess. So we are, designing, tailoring, and synthesizing materials at such a smaller scale, which have novel properties and which can be used in different aspects of, they are almost used in every industry. So moving to next, how this nanomaterials are used as adsorbents in water, um, wastewater treatment. So this is SEM image of silicon dioxide nanoparticles. Uh, so these are the spheres of silicon dioxide, which are approximately 100 nanometer in diameter. So we can design such nanomaterials at nanoscale. So moving to next slide, this is classification of nanomaterials. Nanomaterials are classified as 0D, which includes quantum dots, clusters, and solid nanoparticles. And next is 1D nanomaterials, which include nanorods, carbon nanotubes, particularly nanofibers and nanowires. Next is 2D nanomaterials, which include films, pattern surfaces, coatings, and layered chips. They basically consist of chips. And the third is 3D nanoparticles, which include nanocomposites, Ulhas, polycrystals, etc. This is a brief, classification of nanomaterials. Going to next, nanomaterials in wastewater treatment. So nanoparticles have unique, potential of eliminating water pollutants, mostly because of their larger surface area and smaller size. So they are extensively used in the removal of heavy metal ions, dyes, and because of their structural properties, they are effective adsorbents. The structural property which is exploited for them being as adsorbents is the higher surface area of the nanomaterial. Development of nanomaterials as adsorbents for wastewater treatment. I will be mostly focusing on carbon-based nanomaterials and metal oxide nanomaterials. So moving to carbon-based nanomaterials, we have activated carbon, graphene, and carbon nanotubes. Carbon-based material is basically used in it is basically used because it helps us with the removal of heavy metals and dyes. It is less toxic. Also, the carbon is abundant on the planet, so it can be, carbon-based materials will be low cost, precursor. Ease of preparation of the material, their high surface area and porosity, the stable structure of the synthesized material, and also they have high sorption capacity. Activated carbon is activated carbon, particularly this granular activated carbon, helps in the removal of pentavalent arsenic from solution, or particularly water, aqueous water, and also the activated carbon, which is prepared from coconut tree sawdust, is specifically used for removal of chromium plus 6 ions. This activated carbon are used in water treatment basically because of their sorption ability, high sorption ability, and low price. Low price because they are prepared from easily available carbonaceous matter. Okay, so moving to the next, carbon nanotubes. Carbon nanotubes are prepared by the methods like CVD and they are also prepared from graphene chips. So carbon nanotubes, as we can see, they have high surface area because of and also the pores, which is helps them to be a good adsorbent. So the carbon nanotubes are of two types. One is single wall carbon nanotube, and second multi-wall carbon nanotube. This carbon nanotubes have specific mechanism of absorbing the toxins from the wastewater. So the CNTs, they when polar compounds are present in the water, they interact chemically. Chemical in the sense covalent bonds are formed and the polar compounds are absorbed onto the surface of the carbon nanotube. And second is physical absorption, which includes because when non-polar compounds are particularly present in the wastewater, it absorbs the non-polar compound in this physical manner, which is also known as physisorption and chemisorption. These carbon nanotubes are highly, hydrophobic in nature. So what happens when we add them into water is they form aggregate. All the carbon nanotubes, when they are added in water, they come together and they form aggregates. So this is a particular depiction of the aggregate and this carbon nanotubes can form. So this, when carbon nanotubes form aggregates, there are sites of adsorption they create. So these are four types sites of adsorption which carbon nanotubes have. One, this is interstitial site. Second is interstitial canal. Third is the outer surface of the carbon nanotubes, and fourth are grooves, external grooves where the adsorption happens. So the maximum adsorption happens on the outer surface and the groove. And also the carbon, since they are tubes and they have pores on their surfaces, that also helps in the adsorption. So this is about the carbon nanotubes. Now, how we can increase the efficiency of adsorption of this carbon nanotube? So there are various, they can be the adsorption efficiency of carbon nanotubes can be increased by modifying the surfaces of the carbon nanotube. Yeah. So the modifying the surfaces of carbon nanotubes is also called functionalization of carbon nanotubes. So functionalization of carbon nanotubes simply means that adding some functionalities onto the carbon nanotubes, which will increase the specificity of carbon nanotubes as well as the efficiency of adsorption of the carbon nanotubes. So functionalization of carbon nanotubes is basically of two types. One is covalent method and second is a non-covalent method. So in covalent method, basically there are two types, side wall functionalization and end and defect functionalization. In covalent method, basically what is done is the functionality which is added onto the carbon nanotube, it is attached chemically. There is bonding happening when we are adding this functionalities in through covalent method. So there is side wall that is attaching the functionality to side walls of the carbon nanotubes, and second is end and defects where the functionality what is attached to the ends of the carbon nanotubes, as well as wherever there are defects on the carbon nanotubes, these functionalities are also added, which after in this covalent, when we do covalent functionalization of this carbon nanotubes, there is change in the properties and chemical behavior of the carbon nanotubes since there is involved bonding. In non-covalent methods, we have polymer wrapping and surface attachment of surfactants. In non-covalent method, basically the functionality which is added, it is not bonded to the carbon nanotube, but it is just sort of absorbed on the surface of that tube, so that there is efficiency in absorption of the dyes or whatever toxin which is present in water. And the surface attachment of surfactants, it is in the similar way. They are not bonded, but they are just absorbed on the surfaces of this metal. So example of surface attachment carbon nanotube could be gold multi-walled carbon nanotube. Polymer wrapped carbon nanotubes example is polyethylene glycol carbon nanotube. So end defect is mostly they add organic functional groups to the defect site. And side wall carbon nanotubes, the example is dichlorobenzene functionalized single wall uh, nanotube. These carbon nanotubes help in the removal of dyes such as safranin O. They are known to efficiently remove safranin O from the water. Also, oxidized multi-walled carbon nanotubes help in the removal of methylene red and methylene blue, and also carbon nanotubes which is impregnated with Cytosine hydrogen beads help in the removal of Congo red. And heavy metal ions like cadmium, lead, zinc, copper, nickel, they are removed with help of carbon nanotubes. Also, when there is multi-component ion, when more than one type of ion are present in a solution or particularly water, they help in the removal of them. Graphene. Graphene is almost similar to carbon nanotubes. The structure, the composition is similar, just the structure differs. Carbon nanotubes are tubes, whereas graphene is a 2D layered material. It is a layer of material, but the composition is same. So graphene is particularly have same function as that of the carbon nanotube. Even um, so the graphene is nothing but the 2D layer of carbon atoms. Okay, so the graphene is more efficient than other both carbonaceous nanomaterials. The graphene is more efficient and also cheaper. Uh, Graphene, when absorbs the metal ions which are present in water by coordination, and also when the graphene is functionalized, it is more specific and efficient than other two carbon nanomaterials. So next, I would like to move to metal oxide-based nanoparticles, which can be used in wastewater treatment. So metal oxide-based nanomaterials like magnesium dioxide, cadmium oxide, titanium dioxide, ferrite, magnesium oxide, and magnesium oxide, and zinc oxide are the metal oxide-based nanomaterials which can be used in wastewater treatment. So I'll be basically focusing on ferrite in the next few slides. The metal oxide-based nanomaterials are used in wastewater treatment because they have high surface area and specific affinity to specific type of toxins. So this is a representation of how metal oxide nanoparticles can be used in removal of toxins from wastewater. So here we have wastewater. So here we are using magnetic nanoparticles, particularly magnetic nanoparticles. We are using in removal of the toxins from this water. So we have wastewater. We have to directly add the magnetic nanoparticles into it, and next we have to either centrifuge or stir the solution for whatever incubation time. And then after it is stirred or it is centrifuged, all the toxic material which is present in this water, it gets absorbed on this magnetic nanoparticles. Okay. After they have got absorbed on the surface of this nanoparticle, next is the separation. The separation is done using now these are magnetic nanoparticles and they have this absorbed onto them. What is done is we are using magnet which will pull this nanoparticles to it, and the solution will be clear, free from the toxic material. Then decantation is done. The water which was purified using this MPs is taken and it is analyzed if really the um, toxins are removed or they are present. Also, then after this adsorption is done, these nanoparticles now which have toxins on their surface, they are took into other solutions and the toxins which was absorbed on their surface is removed using some solution. Okay. After the desorption takes place, that is the removal of the toxin takes place. Again, the materials is this magnetic nanoparticles are kept at a side with the help of a magnet, and the solution is decanted. So now this desorbed and desorbed nanoparticles, they can be reused for the similar process. So this is again one highlighting property of the nanoparticles, that is the reusability. So move to next. Absorption efficiency of ferrite nanoparticles, it depends on pH, temperature, amount of the adsorbent, and incubation time for how much time it is kept in that for adsorption. So as we have seen the functionalization of carbon nanotubes, similar way this ferrite nanoparticles can also be functionalized and they can be specifically used to removal of some particular ions or dyes. So next we will see how the functionalized ferrite can help us in the removal of ions. Functionalization of ferrite nanoparticles. So first functionalization is carboxylamine and thiol of ferrite. This ferrite particularly help us in the removal of arsenic ions. Then second is EDTA ferrite, which helps in the absorption of ions like chromium, nickel, cadmium, lead, etc. Also, this EDTA ferrite, it helps us in the removal of dyes like methyl green and methyl blue and brilliant green. So what is done here is similar. So this is the structure of functionalized nanoparticle. This ferrite which is functionalized. So here they have used sawdust carbon, which is a type of activated carbon. They have kept it as a core on which they have the layer of ferrite, and to ferrite are this attached are this EDTA molecules. So these EDTA molecules help in the removal of dyes from the water. So here this is EDTA structure, and this is methyl blue and brilliant green, which is they are showing how it is being removed. So what is done is this is the solution of methyl blue and brilliant green. Now say they are in water, and we need to remove this dyes. It is not we have to remove this dye. So what is done is nanoparticles are taken. This particularly EDTA ferrite are taken. They are mixed with the solution and they are incubated for some particular time. And after some period, what is done is using magnet. This is a magnet. Okay. Then they are taken onto a side. Now all the color is absorbed on the nanoparticles, and they are kept at a side with the help of this magnet, and the water is clear. Now we can decant this water. So after this is done, we can we need to again desorb the nanoparticles. The adsorbent which is there on the nanoparticles we have to remove. So that is done using some particular solution, and the nanoparticles can be regenerated and they can be reused. So again, the reusability of ferrite nanoparticles. Next is polymer modified ferrite. Yes, they help in the removal of cadmium, zinc, lead, and copper. Here, a nanoparticle is functionalized with some functionality, and then a polymer is created out of it, which helps in the removal of iron. Yeah. So this next is rhodamine hydrazide ferrite. So particularly this rhodamine hydrazide ferrite is used in the removal of mercury ions. As you know, mercury is very much toxic, and it can be it is fatal for the aquatic life as well as human health. So rhodamine hydrazide is having this structure. So this is the ferrite core, and to which the rhodamine hydrazide is attached. So this particularly helps in the anchoring of you know mercury with coordination with tridentate coordination. Okay. So yeah. So in the next slide, I will just show the structure of these are the ferrite sphere. Okay, normal ferrite sphere, and when we add, when the ferrite is functionalized with your rhodamine hydrazide, this structure, it looks something like this. Okay, and because we can see how the structure has differed, and because rhodamine hydrazide which is present, it coordinates with your mercury, and it specifically helps in the removal of your mercury ions from the wastewater. Okay, so we can see how much specific the nanoparticles can be. So with this, I would like to conclude my today's session. Um, so the novel properties of this nanoparticles can be, if they are used rightly, they can provide quality water to everyone. Since the quality of the water in some areas is not so good, so this nanomaterials, this nanotechnology can be used to provide, quality water to everyone in the near future. Particularly, I would like to, emphasize on magnetic nanoparticles, which have this, which can be, which can turn out to be magical in wastewater treatment. And yes, nanoparticles have the potential of solving many environmental problems. So yes, uh, thank you. Thank you for listening to me patiently. Yes, sir. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Mm. Yes, sir. Thank you for the question. Um, yeah. So, what we do with the waste. So it depends on what the waste or the toxic material is that we are absorbing and removing from the water. First of all, for example, if you know uh, the phosphates which are used in agricultural in farms and all, uh, those are being removed with help of there is research going on the same. The phosphates are being removed with help of your magnetic nanoparticles. So what is done with them is after they are removed, and you can just separate the nanoparticles, and the waste which is there, they will have phosphates. The phosphates, as we know, they are important fertilizers used in fertilizers. So instead of just it was being wasted, we can reuse the phosphates again into the farm or as fertilizer. So that will be the fate of the waste. It depends on what type of the waste it is. Yeah.